What's going on YouTube? I am the Bowtie Fragrance Guy, man, the fashion and fragrance channel. So if you're into either one of those things, it's fashion or fragrance, I hope you guys won't mind subscribing to this channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon as well. That way, when I upload new content on YouTube, you'll be one of the first people to get notified. All right, guys, on today's video, I'm going to be talking about, in my opinion, what I believe to be the 5 fragrances from Parfumsdemarly that are really underrated. Now, I know that almost seems to be a kind of oxymoronic thing to say that a brand that is so popular as Parfumsdemarly would have fragrances within their collection that may be considered to be a little bit underrated. But that is the case according to this guy, and I want to share with you guys the 5 fragrances in my opinion that I feel would fit into that underrated category. So if you want to see what's on my list, you guys know the routine. Keep it locked right here. Oh, let's get it. All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. I want to go ahead and jump right into this video. Before I do get to the fragrances, I want to say shout out and congratulations to those of you that actually took advantage of the sale. There was a sale that we ran a couple weeks, maybe last week, on Joma Shop, and where they dropped the prices on the Parfumsdemarly fragrances, and some of you guys were able to pick these up at a severely discounted price. So shout out to you that got a chance to experience that sale. I myself was able to pick up a bottle, and that particular fragrance is what really spawned the idea to talk about underrated fragrances, because I got a hidden gem from Parfumsdemarly, but we'll get to that one. Also, guys, if you are interested in any of these fragrances, I highly recommend sampling. One of the places that I recommend you sampling is over at ScentSplit.com. ScentSplit offers a lot of these fragrances that I'm going to talk about, and you can sample them first before you invest into a bottle. All right, so I'm always going to link ScentSplit down below. That way you can check them out. All right, so the first fragrance that I want to talk about on the list today that I feel like is really one of those hidden gems, you know, one of those underrated fragrances from Parfumsdemarly, is this fragrance right here, and it's called a castor. A castor. Now, this particular scent, I will tell you, is one, obviously, of course, you guys probably never really hear about. I would challenge you to go on the YouTube or any place else and kind of try to search for reviews of this fragrance. You won't really find many. And so, of course, it's not one that, you know, gets a lot of hype like a lot of the other fragrances from this brand. But I'm going to tell you guys, it's really good. Now, at its core, this is a rose oud fragrance. Rose, oud, and musk. And I'm going to tell you what really I feel like turns people off sometimes from this scent. To me, there is a note of cypress in the top, and in my humble opinion, you know, obviously I'm not, no disrespect to the perfumer, but I just feel like they could have left the cypress out. That cypress is a little bit earthy and in the opening, and that dry earthiness that comes from that cypress, I think kind of turns some people off from this fragrance a little bit, but it only really sticks around for about the first 2 or 3 minutes. And obviously they say you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And I think that may turn some people off when they first spray this. But man, just give it a second, guys. And this, again, turns into an amazing rose oud fragrance that, in my humble opinion, can really compete with some of the best rose oud fragrances out there on the market. So, again, one that's really not talked about at all. And again, I think that's really easy to see if you just, you know, take a look out there, open your eyes. Nobody talks about a castor. But if you like rose and oud, this is one that I think you should at least give a chance. So check it out. Again, this one is called a castor. All right, guys, the next fragrance on this list, and this honestly is the one that I'm the most excited to talk about. This is actually the fragrance that I was referring to earlier that I said I was able to pick this up last week or whenever that was when we did the sale at Joma Shop. And this one is called Nisean. I think that's how you pronounce that. Nisean or Nisean. I think it's Nisean though. I do have the cap, and I took it off. But this is what the full presentation of it looks like. It's one of the fragrances that came in that collection of fragrances that have the gold caps, which had Wajan, this one, as well as a few others. But Wajan, I think, what was the other one in that collection? I can't think of it right now. Anyway, this particular fragrance, I think Hobden was in that as well. Yeah, Hobden. But anyway, this particular fragrance, man, this is patchouli. If you like patchouli, you're gonna like this fragrance. And again, nobody talks about this one. Nobody. I love this one. I really love this one. Again, this is the one I was most excited about talking about with you guys. It's so good. If you like patchouli, you're gonna love this one. Oh man, this is so good, man. You got some patchouli in here. You have some amber, and this one some saffron, labdanum. So you get that warm, almost kind of gourmand, vanillic undertone, ambery undertone in this fragrance that again combines with that patchouli. The patchouli in this one to me is more of the green variety. Oh man, this is so good. It's a little bit smoky. You got some rose in there. There's something about this one that reminds me a little bit of Hobden, and maybe that the rose in it and this and Hobden is similar. But man, this is dynamite. Again, this one is highly slept on. Nobody talks about Nisean. Nobody. And I mean nobody. But I think you guys should give it a try, man. Especially if you like patchouli, I think you'll really enjoy this one. So check this one out, guys. Again, this one is called Nisean. All right, so the next fragrance that I would put on this list, definitely one as well that kind of goes a little bit, flies a little bit under the radar there. This one is one of the ones in the clear bottles, which this one is called Darly. This is Darly. And those of you that know anything about this fragrance will probably be able to easily discuss why I think this is highly underrated. And that's because to me, this gives me original Santal from Creed vibes all day long. Now, it's not an exact clone of original Santal, but it does give you original Santal vibes. Yeah, man, the lavender here, you got a fresh opening, you got some mint in the opening of this fragrance. You got lavender, like I said, you have some sandalwood in here, cinnamon, tonka bean. A lot of notes that I really love. Those are two of my favorite notes, cinnamon, tonka bean. So you have that in here as well. So again, it gives you kind of the same vibes as original Santal. It has some of the same notes as original Santal, but this is a little bit fresher to me, especially the opening than original Santal. But again, there are some similarities there, and I love this fragrance. Again, I think some people, when they think about Parfums de Marly, they kind of forget about the clear bottles. There's several other fragrances that came in this collection as well, and I actually think the ones in the clear bottles was actually the first fragrances that were released by this brand. But anyway, aside from that slight little history lesson there, this is a great one to check out, man. Again, so if you love fragrances like the aforementioned original Santal, I think this is one that you guys are going to really like. So check it out. Again, this one is called Darly. All right, guys, the next fragrance that I feel like is severely underrated as well, and I think I know the reasons for that, but this one is called Cologne. Cologne, and this is the red bottle. Obviously, guys, you know I love red, so this is one of my favorite bottle presentations from the brand. But man, to me, Cologne is super underrated. It's super underrated. Now, when this fragrance first came out, of course, you had people screaming that this smelled like Baccarat Rouge 540. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, I know sometimes people may get fixated on the color of a bottle. I don't know, because obviously Baccarat has red hints, of course, and then the straight it comes in a red bottle. But to me, this really doesn't smell anything like Baccarat. Maybe if you want to push it, maybe 10%. But this is such a unique fragrance to me. It's really spicy when it opens up. Really spicy when it opens up. You have black pepper in here, so again, some other underlying spicy nuances to it as well, so it's definitely spicy. But this fragrance is really green to me. It's really, really green. Has some green undertones to it as well. But the primary notes that you're gonna get in this one, that blood orange when it opens up, really nice, sweet, juicy blood orange note. Starts to dry down, of course, you get some lavender here, but you're also gonna get sandalwood and amber. Get some sandalwood and some amber in here, and then it's a little bit sweet as it starts to dry fully down as well. Get some sweetness that starts to come up in there as well. Again, it's an amazing fragrance to me, but I just feel like because of sometimes the comparison to fragrances like Baccarat Rouge, I think fragrances can really have an adverse effect on how well they do in the market, because I think at that point the consumers were a little bit overwhelmed by all of the Baccarat Rouge inspired fragrances. So I think this one kind of took a hit from that standpoint. But don't let that deter you guys. Again, to me, this is not that similar to Baccarat Rouge 540 at all. It's its own thing, and I really enjoy this scent. So the next one that I would say falls into the underrated category is this one right here. It's called Cologne. And last but not least, this may be, of the ones that I've talked about today, this may be a little bit more recognizable than these other four, but I still feel like this fragrance is really underrated. It's from obviously Parfumsdemarly, and this one is called Hobden. This is Hobden, and I really think Hobden is still underrated. I know I kind of talk about Hobden, but outside of me and a few other people, I still feel like for how good this fragrance is, it's kind of underrated. But this one has apple, it has caramel, it has myrrh in here as well. So again, that candy apple thing that I talked about is the imagery that comes to my head when I smell this fragrance, because it's really hard to get away from the reference of a candy apple, because honestly that's what it smells like. But it's an amazing fragrance, and like I said, when you compare it to some of the really popular fragrances from Parfumsdemarly, you talk about Leighton, you talk about Herod, you talk about Pegasus, especially Carlisle, definitely still underrated in my humble opinion. So that's why, of course, I put it on this list of underrated fragrances. This is a gem, and this one is called Hobden. But that's it, guys. That's my time. I hope you enjoyed this video today, as I gave you 5 fragrances from the brand of Parfumsdemarly that I feel are criminally underrated. As always, I sincerely appreciate you guys' time and attention to these videos. I know you don't have to watch, but you do, and I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to make sure you take a few moments to go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you are sharing these videos out to some other folks out there that you think could use this information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, Darian. I'm the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side.